I am the epitome of strength and power.
Blub.
Oh yeah? Well, I am also powered by electricity.
Blub.
I do not know how to debate this.
Blub.
Seriously, you are just a fish.
Blub.
I give up. You win.
Ladies, gentlemen, and trainers of all ages, it's time once again to sit down and have a chat about some Pokemon, but not just any Pokemon, some egregiously strong Pokemon, ones that in the right situation can absolutely decimate whatever you come across within the game. As usual, while I will be ranking this list from 10 to 1, know that any and all Pokemon included are strong as hell, and the ranking is more of a minute difference type of thing, and in different situations, number 10 on this list is better than number 1. Pokemon has a very matchup-dependent combat system, and it all depends on what you make of it. These are all very strong. Without further ado then, let's start off with number 10, Screamtale. This Paradox Pokemon is really strong for one specific purpose, doubles PvP. Don't get me wrong, the Pokemon can be good in general, but this is the place where it will shine as it is an excellent support kind of Pokemon. It might be one of the best screen setters in the game between its access to Light Screen and Reflect. It can learn Trick Room, which makes it great to pair with a low speed Pokemon to flip the turn priority, and it can even learn Play Rough in Psychic Fangs to do damage of its own, on top of having Parasong to inflict some status. While it does have some other use, this thing is just sort of a jack of all trades when it comes specifically to supporting other Pokemon in battle. Number 9.
Ghost.
Annihilape. And here we have a Pokemon that is actually one of my favorites this generation. It may just be a new evolution, but it is a sick evolution. It looks absolutely badass. And of course it comes with a type combo of Fighting and Ghost, which is just one of the best combos you could ask for. It makes it immune to normal and fighting types, resistant to poison, rock, and bug types, and double resistant to bug. It also loses the weakness to dark type moves because fighting is resistant to them, making the only things this is actually weak to being flying, psychic, and fairy. That said, the ghost moves still do double damage to psychic. It can learn Rock Tome or Thunder Punch to counter the flying types, and then your only true weakness is fairy. It can learn Outrage, the strong dragon move for some reason, as well as Stomping Tantrum, the ground move, for even more coverage. This is just a really strong type combo with tons of move variety supported by a decent amount of bulkiness and a really good attack stat. Number 8. Brute Bonnet. I've talked about this Pokemon in a previous video, but the main reason for this is it's just a great all-rounder. It has an extreme amount of bulk, great both defense and special defense, while also having a reasonably high HP stat as well, all the while having great physical attack too. It gets Giga Drain for great sustain, it gets Sucker Punch to make it attack first in the turn order, it can use Spore to induce sleep on the enemy Pokemon while also being able to learn Hex to do massive damage to Pokemon that are affected by sleep, and it can also learn Rage Powder at level 77, which is great for doubles matchups, forcing the enemy Pokemon to attack Brute Bonnet instead of its partner, which makes it a great teammate for something like Screamtale, like I mentioned earlier. Use Screamtale to set screens, Brute Bonnet takes all the attacks into the screens while dealing great damage itself. Not to mention Photosynthesis, of course, which will raise your highest stat by 30% when in harsh sunlight or holding booster energy, just a massive boost in itself. Number 7.
And with that, the ice is broken.
Baxcalibur. This is the pseudo-legendary of this generation, and as such it has a pretty high BST at 600. Its HP is pretty good, defense and special defense pretty good, but its physical attack is just monstrous. It can learn Icicle Crash, which is a great high-power ice physical move that can make targets flinch. It can learn Crunch, which again is a high-power move, but this one can lower your opponent's defense. Dragon Claw, which is just high damage with the stab bonus. It has Dragon Tail, which you can use in a multi-battle to forcibly switch the opponent's Pokemon. It can learn Sword Dance to raise its attack by 2 stages, and even Draco Meteor, which is just a really good move. The big thing though, the main thing arguably, is its ability Thermal Exchange. This boosts its attack when hit by a fire type move. It doesn't remove the damage of the fire move, but it does give you a notable advantage even against fire types with this Ice Dragon Pokemon, which removes one of the greatest weaknesses of an Ice Pokemon. Number 6. Kingambit, the new evolution for Bisharp. This guy is really just sturdy as hell. Good HP, but incredible physical defense, decent special defense, and a really good attack stat too. Its speed is quite low, which makes it great for a Trick Room team in PvP, but other than that, it is just its tankiness. It learns Iron Defense for a multiple stage defense up, Swords Dance for a multi-stage attack up, Iron Head, which is just a high power move with a flinch chance, Assurance, which is a 120 power move if you get hit first in the turn, which you will unless Trick Room is in effect, and even Torment, a real neat move that makes your opponent incapable of using the same same move twice in a row. It also has the ability Defiant, which is really good. Anytime any of your stats are lowered by your opponent, your attack is raised by 2 stages. So let's say that your opponent is a Pokemon with Intimidate, which automatically lowers your attack by 1 stage. Instead, your attack will be raised by 1 stage as a result of this. It's just a really solid Pokemon. Number 5.
Do not let him get to the rip. Don't do it, pal. Do not do it.
Hey, calm down here.
Koraidon / Miraidon. Surprise, surprise, it's Koraidon and Miraidon. Yes, they are the proper legendaries of this generation, and you might expect they are quite good. Not quite broken, but very good. Their abilities make them put down terrain when they are thrown out for the first time, and this terrain matches the ability of their respective Paradox Pokemon, thus activating Photosynthesis for all Scarlet Paradox and Quark Drive for all Violet Paradoxes. This in itself makes it incredible to combo with those, but then the Pokemon themselves are also monstrous, of course having a nasty 670 BST, as well as access to great dragon moves and then great secondary type moves for each of them. I feel like this is one I really don't have to explain much to the legendaries, and they are so for a good reason. You can also get a second one of them down in Area 0 if you want to have one just be your mount permanently and one actually be in your party permanently. You can do that. Number 4, Iron Valiant. This is one of the most versatile Pokemon of the generation. Fairy Fighting is a good type combo, it has a BST of 590, which is quite good, and the split of these stats is quite good too. It isn't the bulkiest Pokemon by any means, but both its attack and special attack are exceptional, which allows you to adjust this Pokemon to the situation of what you're fighting. If your opponent has strong physical defense, use special attacks. If they are instead strong special defense, use physical attacks. You can learn Swords Dance for a multi-stage attack up, and it has access to a million different TMs that you can use to customize your moveset however you want for each situation. Psychic type moves, normal type moves, electric, grass, water, bug, poison, ice, fire, ghost, dark, and of course its base typing of fairy and fighting. It has absolutely insane coverage ability, which combined with the high attack and special attack make it capable of countering pretty much anything in the game that you want it to. Number 3.
Is that a fish?
It was.
ChiU. First and foremost, we have to talk about the ability that this Pokemon has, Beads of Ruin. This lowers the special defense of all Pokemon except for ChiU by 25%, which is quite notable without needing to spend a turn on it. In combination with this, of course, ChiU has great special attack and also pretty great special defense. It is somewhat made of paper against physical attacks, but against a special attacker it will absolutely destroy. It has access to Ruination, which is a move that just cuts your opponent's HP in half no matter what their HP total is. Lava Plume, which is just a high power move with a chance of inflicting burn. And of course, burn lowers your opponent's physical damage by 50%, making up for the most glaring weakness of this Pokemon. It has Nasty Plot, a multi-stage special attack buff, Confuse Ray to cause confusion, Dark Pulse, a high power move that can cause flinch, Inferno, which is a high power move with a guaranteed burn but only 50% hit chance, and also Overheat, a super high power fire move, but it harshly lowers your special attack. Combine that with Nasty Plot, however, and it will even itself out into a super powerful combo every other turn. Number 2, Houndstone. This one is really fun. In an average situation, Houndstone is sorta just alright, but there is one moment where Houndstone is the best Pokemon you could ever ask for, when it's the last one up in your party, and all 5 other Pokemon have fainted. Why? Because of the move Last Respects. This is a 50 power ghost physical move, and for every fainted party member, its power is raised by 50. In other words, if this is your last Pokemon alive, if you have 5 fainted Pokemon, this move is actually 300 power. Yep, a 300 power, 100 accuracy ghost physical move. That sounds silly, and yes, it is silly. If you purposefully keep this Pokemon in your party with the concept of using it if everything else has gone down, it will more than likely mop up the rest of the fight no matter what it is. If it doesn't, you were way out of your league to begin with. Houndstone is just a silly Pokemon in the best of ways. Number 1.
Talk to the hand.
Iron Hands. I recently did a whole video on what makes Iron Hands so great, but let me sum it up here. This is a Pokemon that can solo 6-star Tera raids with ease, and of course the power extends to other content as well. It has an exceptional attack stat, exceptional tankiness, and also Quark Drive, its ability which will raise its attack by 30% when holding an energy booster or standing on electric terrain. It can learn Drain Punch, which does loads of damage and healing to itself, Close Combat, which is just a super high power move, and of course at level 84 Power, it learns Belly Drum, which is literally all 6 stages of attack buff in one turn for the simple cost of half of your max HP. Combine that with Drain Punch though, and you'll immediately go back to full health, because the amount of damage you do with a Drain Punch that is buffed by 6 stages of attack is insane. Close combat at that stage can do half of a 6-star Tera raid Pokemon's health in one turn. Ironhand is just a really strong Pokemon, and is insanely strong if you're allowed to get off Belly Drum and recover. And that just about does it for today, everyone. Another list of 10 extremely strong Pokemon. I hope you've enjoyed this discussion and dissection of this specific group. Let me know if there are any other Pokemon you think deserve to be talked about this way, and of course, I hope your journey through the Paldea region is going absolutely swimmingly, but only if you defeated the Flying Titan, otherwise you might drown. Like if you like the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world our stage. Goodbye.